Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Roku is one of those stocks that's getting a lot more attention, and I'm digging into them a lot more, primarily because ARK Innovation has bought a lot of Roku. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. They're loading up. It's one of the highest conviction stocks. It's like the third biggest stock in their portfolio behind Tesla and Teladoc. So Roku is a big stock. Roku is a stock that Cathie Wood and ARK cares about a lot. As a result, people are going to analyze it. People are going to be like, what's the moat of Roku? What are they understanding that we don't understand? What does the market not get that Cathie Wood understands? And I am on that same mission to try to understand what is going on with Roku, along with what is going on with a lot of other stocks that she's investing in and some of the big ideas that she sees that the rest of the world doesn't see. I recently did a breakdown and a little bit of a debate with my friend Chris Patel. That video has already been uploaded. You can probably just check it out on the channel, or I'll leave it in the description, where we kind of went through and tried to understand Roku's moat. And it was about an hour-long exploration to try to figure out what is the visionary idea behind this company that Cathie Wood has loaded up almost $800 million of stock for in the context of what this company can fundamentally become. This is an interview that we're about to analyze with the CEO of Roku. CEO of Roku, very well-spoken guy. This is his sixth company. Roku actually stands for six in Japanese, which is why it's called Roku. I never knew that before. Interesting guy, and he has a lot of interesting thoughts. Here in this clip, it's about like a minute, you're going to see him talk that he believes that Roku can become a content publishing destination for publishers, which can give them distribution and monetization. And when I went through this in that debate that I did with Chris Patel, where he was doing his like presentation on what Roku's moat was, I could not believe what I was hearing, because it seems absurd to me that is the moat. That is the revolution that Cathie Wood and ARK is betting on in the context of Roku. Roku's innovation, to me, was when they were able to introduce the idea of streaming. I mean, we're not going to show it in this interview, but if you guys watch that breakdown, they pioneered the concept of this little box that connects to Netflix and Amazon and all that stuff, and this little remote that does it. Like, they issued and started that whole thing from Netflix not doing DVDs to streaming. They were a big central role in introducing a TV operating system that was customized for OEMs, which make TVs, that was optimized so that those OEMs, which have cutthroat competitive margins, are able to work with a friendly operating system that is easily integrated into their TVs. Every TV is a smart TV, so if you're an OEM and you're making TVs like LG or Samsung or whatever, Samsung has their own operating system, but the rest of them, you need to have some type of operating system on your TV that easily allows consumers, when they load up the TV, to just access the content that they want. Roku, and Cathie Wood is betting on Roku, is the platform and operating system that is going to allow people to connect OTT with the content that they want to see through the operating system and the platform that is Roku. Think of it as Apple and the App Store. Roku is the App Store for TV, which is great. Phenomenal idea. I think very visionary. And they pioneered that over the past 17 years. Roku's been around since 2001. They've been able to do that. But this clip that we're about to see is the part where I do not get this moat at all. I'm fundamentally bearish against this part of the company's moat. And I think if this is the thing that Cathie's betting on, or anyone who's buying Roku, I think there is a bit of confusion here, and maybe I don't get it. So I would love to hear some stuff in the comments, but it's definitely interesting to understand. So the original moat is the idea of streaming and being the operating system for TVs. They've been able to do that successfully. I believe they will continue to be able to do that successfully. But this is where the CEO starts talking about content. And this is where I have an issue, because I don't understand it. So let's take a look at this, and then we'll talk.
There's a lot of things changing as TV moves to streaming. You know, the main, I think the big thing that's changed is competition. You know, before streaming, there was not a lot of competition in TV. I mean, there was some competition, but, you know, cable companies only had a couple hundred channels. Only certain big networks had access to those channels. Streaming allows any company to publish content to a television. You know, that's why anyone can make a streaming channel for Roku. You don't have to be, you know, CBS or try a streaming channel. So right. Competition is driving the innovation in streaming, and that's resulting in things like more content, lower cost, more choice for consumers. I think some of the changes we're going to start to see, you know, one of the reasons Roku has been successful is there's over 6,000 different apps on Roku, or we call them streaming channels. Yeah. But that's a hard way to find content in so many apps. You know, I remember when someone at Apple once said the future of TV is apps. Well, actually, the future of TV is not apps, because people are tired of looking in 6,000 apps for content. So I think one of the next evolutions in TV is how do we make it easier for consumers to find content when there's so many different publishers of content.
How do we?
Now, well, we have something called the Roku channel, which is it's just a free ad-supported movies and TV shows, but we just also added live news, and we're going to keep adding more and more content. It's the sandbox where we bring content and make into a content first user interface, make recommendations, use our data platform, our machine learning platform to sort of find content and recommend it to customers. And so we think things like the Roku channel will become the way content publishers end up publishing on platforms like Roku.
Is it like...
Now, notice what I hope you guys listened very carefully to what he said. He said it is the sandbox. It is the centralized aggregated authority using data, machine learning, and a monetization model supported through advertising, in which any content publisher can upload basically through the Roku channel, right? They can stream their content through the Roku channel. And that Roku channel will give publishers monetization, will give them opportunities to get discovered, will give them this like centralized hub, right? Where like people don't have to go through channels. They're using their machine learning proprietary algorithms to match consumers with the right type of content. And at that point, people will be able to better access content and publishers will be able to get distribution for their content. And I'm listening to this, and I'm trying to understand, like, this is the bull case, right? This is the end of the interview. This is his, like, this is our big vision. We're going to, control most of the streaming hours on TV. We're going to have all the advertising dollars. We're going to have all the percentages of revenue, and we're going to give distribution to all these content publishers. And I'm listening to this, and I'm like, so you're trying to make YouTube? Hear me out on this. I'm listening to this like, wait a second. YouTube is the centralized aggregator that allows people to upload anything they want. Sounds similar to what he said. Content publishers can get distribution. YouTube has a ad-supported model. It's not really that different than Roku. I mean, there's an ad that comes in the middle. There's a CPM. There's a RPM. If you have a higher RPM and CPM, you get paid more money. There's a 55-45% split, which I think is quite generous of YouTube, given the fact that they give so much distribution. And then it's a place where all consumers are able to go, right? If you can't get distribution unless all consumers are coming to one place. So if all consumers are coming to YouTube, if all consumers are coming to Twitter for your tweets or Instagram for your photos, that's where you get distribution. So the algorithm and the data machine learning platform is the basis by which consumers get distribution and are able to actually access an audience, and then on that to get monetization because they've gotten distribution. Well, what is Roku, the Roku channel, which to me is just like YouTube, right? That's literally what it is. It's 6,000 different apps. Okay, YouTube has like 7 billion different channels on in this one website. What is the difference between that and YouTube? Like, what really is the difference? Because again, they have the machine learning data stuff, they have monetization, and then they are promising distribution. That is exactly what YouTube is doing. And there's superior benefits, in my opinion, to YouTube when it comes to content discovery and when it comes to content distribution. So and I'll go through those in a second, but the only difference I can see in terms of justifying Roku's moat at this point is that when people sit down and they're on the couch and they turn on the TV and they access Roku, which means they haven't clicked on Netflix, they haven't clicked on Amazon Prime, they haven't clicked on Hulu, they clicked on the Roku channel, and they're trying to find access to new content. This guy, the CEO, and I think he's, Anthony Wood, I think he's a great, well-spoken speaker. I think he understands what he's doing. But his claim is that when people turn on the Roku channel, they're going to get content and be able to find content. This is explicitly what he says, find content in a much more easier way. And we're going to use the algorithmic capacities that we have from our data platform to be able to match people with the best content. That to me is YouTube, except it's OTT. Right? It's like you're sitting on your couch. So YouTube is mainly computer and a phone, even though YouTube TV is also pretty big. But his argument is that it's going to happen when you're sitting on the couch and you want to watch something, and Roku's going to match you with something to watch. Essentially, what he's building a recommendation engine. He's building a recommendation engine that allows anyone to upload content to and be able to get monetization and distribution. That to me is YouTube with none of the benefits of YouTube. What are the benefits of YouTube? In a nutshell, content discovery happens because the algorithm is in place, and that algorithm is driven by search results. I literally did a Bill Ackman video today around how he's kind of crazy and wants us to go into World War III. And I'm like, what is he shorting? Someone commented, they searched Bill Ackman. They don't know who on my channel. They never were subscribed to my channel. They found the video, they enjoyed it, and they commented under the channel. That's content discovery and distribution in a nutshell. In today's day and age, I could not expect to go to assume that person is going to sit on their butt on the couch, open the Roku channel, and then for me to upload my 8-minute video on Bill Ackman. That's not going to be streaming 24 hours, by the way, because like that, and that's the goal of the channels. They stream 24 hours, so you have to have continuous content. I just had a one-off video that had something to do with Bill Ackman, and search results are what guided my ability to get distribution on this massive platform that 2 billion people per month use, which is YouTube. That's content discovery. TikTok is content discovery, because there's an algorithm that lets any random person with 7 followers show up in front of your feed. I'm not saying that's content discovery at the most long form of levels, but that's how you get discovered for content. That's how you actually build a following. You have to be on the platforms where people are, and People are not on TV discovering random guys like me talking about Bill Ackman. People are on their phones. People are on their computers. People are scrolling through YouTube. People are clicking on a Twitter link because I tweeted about Bill Ackman and I put it in the hashtag and this shows up on Twitter and that drives traffic to YouTube. That is how content discovery is happening. And the reason I'm spending so much time on content discovery is because when understanding Roku's moat, in the beginning of the video, I talked about how they have a lot of advantages. They built a TV-built purpose platform. Apple and Amazon have not done that specifically for TVs. They have their own platforms, but they're not partnering with legacy OEMs to provide them the most optimized operating system at the cheapest cost like Roku is doing. Roku's done that. The Roku box already, streamlined through all these different TV manufacturers and cheaper than the rest of the competition. They have a lot of advantages to be able to grow, but content is where you actually grow, right? Content at the end of the day is what drives attention, and attention is what drives the advertising dollars. And then at the end of this interview, he's like, and we're looking to add our own like premium content, live news. And that's when I started just laughing in the breakdown that I did with Chris Patel, because I was just like, this is ridiculous. Do not tell me that you are starting your own premium content, because it is difficult to get people to watch premium stuff. I mean, Amazon and all the resources they have can't even make that many good shows. Netflix, they're making good shows, but they're struggling to retain user attention. Like, there's just so many options for content. And for you to tell me now you're not just this TV operating system, now you're this media company, because that's essentially what you're becoming, a media company that's able to build content and then try to distribute it out there. I'm not buying it. I am not sipping the Kool-Aid on that. No way do I think Roku's going to create innovative, interesting, informative content. I would rather bet on random creators on YouTube. I watched the vlog of this guy yesterday, go back to his old college in Indiana because I found him from TikTok. I watched the entire vlog, 100% retention. Why? Because I was interested in that guy. And you know what? There's people that do exactly what I did times 100 million across the entire world, because that is the age of creativity and content that we are in. Not sit on my butt, open the Roku TV, bypass all the other media options I have, including YouTube, by the way, which has a recommendation algorithm that is better than anything else in the world, and then click on the Roku channel, give them enough of my attention so they have enough data on me, because that takes time, right? The reason YouTube has the data is because you probably watch a video every day and it's able to understand more about you, and then allow them to recommend me content. And then on top of that, I have to click their premium content because they think that's innovative. No way. I am not buying it. And what really pushed me over the brink is when I heard that Roku bought Quibi. If you don't know what Quibi is, it got $2 billion of venture capital funding from venture capitalists that had no idea what they were doing. And they tried to compete with TikTok except instead of letting creators upload short form videos, they were making premium 15-minute short form pieces of content. Like Kevin Hart was in some 15-minute movie. It's like, and this company, Roku, bought Quibi. Now, I don't want this to come off as super bearish against the company. I think it can still grow. I think what's at $120 right now? I think it could reach $300 in the next 5 years. I really do think it could have that exponential growth, especially because 80% of institutions have owned the float of Roku. So obviously, people see a lot of opportunity for it to become this operating system for TVs, which again I'm bullish on. But content is where I'm not. I don't get its argument for how it's going to be a leader in content. They don't have algorithmic search. They don't have discovery. They don't have mobile, which drives a lot of the data that you need to be able to understand user behavior. And they also don't have the creativity that social platforms have, because you are empowering creators to get discovered by someone searching up Bill Ackman and then finding your content. Like, that's really motivating for me. Is that going to happen on Roku? Is this one-off video going to pop up and I can guarantee someone might be able to have a chance to click it? Like, it's not clicking for me, and I want to do more research and get people to, and I want to get more perspectives, because if Cathie's betting on this, then I am totally bearish. If she's betting on operating system as TV, it can grow. Yes, I get it. If she's betting on content, which it sounds like this guy is betting on, because that was the end of the interview, this was the whole visionary element of Roku, this Roku channel, I'm not buying it. Not yet. I don't get the moat on it yet. So let me know you guys' thoughts. That is my perspective on this. I want to know what other people think. Ultimately, I do not buy this, but we will see in the future what happens with the Roku channel and if it ends up beating YouTube. Because to me, at the end of the day, they're describing YouTube without any of the benefits of YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Looking forward to your comments. I'll see you in the next one.